Hi, my name is Taylor Gallagher, and I have created a preventative program for your center, the Volunteering and Service Learning Center at ECU. Um, I created this program because of an unmet need I have discovered at the center while doing research there. Um, how I started off by finding this unmet need and this need for a preventative program was from a statement that the director gave me while I went and did my initial visit. The statement was, any information or correlations that you find that could help us improve would be appreciated. And he said anything such as suggestions, ideas. Um, and after hearing that statement, I had a few questions of my own. And these questions were, what is the unmet need here at the center? And what type of program can I create to better the center? My method of finding this unmet need was taking the qualitative raw data that was given to me in the form of surveys. There was a survey given to students at the end of their experience of using the volunteer center, and then there's also a survey given to community partners that went through the service center to find volunteers. I looked at these surveys and I zoned in on questions that ask specifically their opinions on the center itself, things that would better the program or things they felt weren't very strong with the program. And I went through the surveys and looked for these questions. I went through and found correlations just amongst the student surveys, and I also went through and just found correlations amongst the community partner surveys. And then what I did is took those correlations and compared them together, those students and the community partners, to see if there were any in common. And my findings were that there were some things that I found interesting while looking at the qualitative data in the surveys. Were some of the students' comments. One of their comments was that they feel like the center needs to build a more concrete relationship with the community partners. They're feeling that the volunteering center doesn't know much about the community partners that they're getting sent to, the organizations they're going to volunteer for. They feel like the center is not giving them a good description of what these centers or what these organizations are about before they get there. Which leads to their next statement. They said, have better description of what the community partners are about and what they expect. So the students, again, are feeling that they're going to these organizations and they're not knowing what they're supposed to be doing, and what the organization is all about. Another thing many of them said was, make sure that advertised agencies are actually taking service learners. A lot of the students that took this survey about the center were saying, I'm getting sent somewhere that isn't even taking service learners. Like, I'm going to an organization that has no idea what a service learner is and what I'm supposed to be doing there. And basically, I'm wasting my time. I got placed somewhere that's not working for me. Another thing they said was help them get in contact with the groups. They're feeling that the center isn't helping them contact their organization to set up hours to meet their requirements. And a lot of them said that the center needs to be a little more organized. They felt that it was a little shaky, especially at the beginning of their semester of volunteering. Some things that stood out to me in the qualitative data that the community partners said, the organizations that are taking these volunteers, was they said, we need more contact with the faculty. They felt like maybe the reasons the students were coming and not knowing what to do, what was expected of them, what they were supposed to be learning, was because they themselves, the community partners and the organizations, didn't know what was expected of them. Why were the students being sent to them? What did the faculty that were requiring these hours expecting their students to take away from this experience? And they felt like if they had better contact with these faculty members, then they could give the students what they needed. Again, just another example of a lack of communication. They also said we were always happy to host a site visit for the center so that VSLC staff are better informed about the program and volunteer needs. So not only students are feeling like the volunteer center doesn't know what these organizations are all about, even the organizations are feeling that the center doesn't know what they're all about. So everyone's wanting a better description of these organizations and what they're about and what the students are expected to be doing there. And they also said have them research the organization so they have an understanding, which ties into what we just said about the students not knowing what is expected of them when they get to these centers or to these organizations. The correlations I found through the qualitative data was they all said that the center was very friendly. They liked that fact about the center, was they were friendly. Both the students and the community partners felt that the center was unorganized, that there was no communication, and the students and the faculty were both unsure of their duties and their expectations during the volunteering process. So I felt like once I read these correlations that it was all due to a lack of communication. That simple things such as expectations and what the duties were could be fixed by just a simple line of communication. Which led me to my program idea of creating a preventative program, prevent this from happening, by creating building relationships with community partners, faculty members, and the center. So creating this big network of communication to prevent these problems from happening before they happen, before these problems occur. I set up kind of an agenda or how I would go about hosting this program. So you can take what you like, leave what you don't like. But if I were running the meeting of the program, this is what I'm suggesting that, y'all could do, how you could go about hosting this meeting. First of all, set up a meeting and invite not just the community partners, but also invite ECU staff that are requiring their students to do these community hours. And you could invite them through an email invitation, which is no cost to y'all, and just, include some things that you would be going over, the agenda of the meeting, and also include maybe some takeaways that they'll be gaining from attending this meeting, such as, you'll be gaining contact information, you'll be learning expectations, some buzzwords that they were using in their surveys that would make them want to come. I thought a good way to start off the meeting would be by having the Volunteer and Service Learning Center, having y'all come up, introduce yourselves, the director introduce himself, introduce your staff, what you do as the director, and then what each staff member does, and give out their contact information so they know when I'm contacting so-and-so, this is what their specialty is, this is what they're taking care of, so they make sure, so they know they're contacting the right person. I would also define service learning. That was a big thing I noticed in the qualitative data was a lot of people said, students and community partners were saying, they really didn't know what service learning was about, so I would really go over that, defining that. Also go over your mission statement, what your job as the center is, what you're supposed to be doing, what your requirements are, how you're supposed to be helping not just the community but also the students. And then I would share the data that I just shared with y'all and the correlations you found, saying, hey, I saw as community partners and as students, this is what you're all unsatisfied with, and this is the point of the meeting is we're trying to fix these problems and set up a good line of communication to try to prevent these problems from happening again. Then I would actually have each community partner or each organization come up and introduce themselves, introduce their staff, give out their contact information, and then I'd have them go through, most importantly, what their organization is about, giving their mission statement, what they're trying to do in the community. Give a really good description of their community or their organization, so you can share that with students and faculty. Then I would also have the community partners. I would ask them to define some of the duties that the students would be performing at the organizations. Again, so you could share that with the faculty and students, so when they don't go in so blindly. They're like, hey, this organization, Boys and Girl Club, it deals with children, it's an after-school program, they help students with homework, they deal with guidance, that sort of thing. And some of the duties you'll be doing is going over homework with them, playing games with them, taking them outside. So they go in kind of having a good expectation of what they're supposed to be doing. So have the organizations go over that type of thing. Next, I would have each faculty member come up and again introduce themselves and give out their contact information. I would then have them go over what they're expecting their students to learn at these organizations, what class requirements they're expecting them to fulfill. Maybe define an experience that you want your student to meet. If you're wanting your students to learn about poverty, you really wouldn't send them to, let's say, the American Red Cross. There's better organizations that would fulfill that need of learning about poverty than that type of organization. So again, if we have good descriptions of organizations, good communication between the faculty, the organization, and the center, then we can send the students where they need to go and gain the experiences that they need to gain for their class requirements. At the end, I would have a question and answer time. Let faculty and community partners ask questions or maybe voice some of their concerns. And while we're having this meeting, I would have a member of your center, of the Volunteer and Service Learning Center, typing up all this information throughout the meeting, typing up, staff names, their contact information, and as the organizations go over what their, organization is about and the duties the students will be fulfilling, I would have, that typed up as well. So at the end of this meeting, you can send that out to the organizations and the faculty. So they have a list of contact information. Faculty will have a list and description of all the organizations. They'll be able to tell their students what the organization's about, what they'll be doing at this organization, really good preventative stuff by just simply having a meeting and communicating with each other. I did a budget for this program, and you can do this program completely free. Promotional materials, you could email a flyer, an invitation to the faculty and to the community partners, completely free, email's free. A space for the event, you could do it in Minden Hall Great Rooms. It's free for university faculty, and since you are the Volunteer and Service Learning Center on campus, and you are faculty of the university, you can use this room for free. It includes the computer, the slideshow screen, chairs, tables, everything you would need for a meeting. Parking, if you did it after 5 on a Friday, it would be completely free. Everyone could park in any spot without the fear of being towed. But also, if you did it during the week before 5, there's still metered parking for everyone, so there are places for them to park. Program materials, all you would really need was a participating faculty member to type up this information as the meeting's going on. Like I said, the contact list, the description of the organizations, which is free. And again, you'd email it out to them after the meeting, and that is again free. An optional thing you could do for the meeting would be food and drinks. Again, you don't have to do this, but if you did choose to do this, I estimate about 40 people attending this meeting, and just to get pastries and coffee, that sort of thing, would be about $240 for the meeting. And again, that's optional. You don't have to do that. Without the food and drinks, it's completely free. So this was just an idea for your center after doing the research. I just feel that there's a lack of communication going on, and all the other problems are stemming from that. So just by having a simple meeting, maybe before the year starts, before the students come and start participating and volunteering, have a meeting, talk about, what we just talked about, and maybe have, some, touch-up meetings throughout the semester, just checking in with each other. As a center, checking in with your organizations, your faculty, like, are you getting what you need from us? Is there anything we can do? That type of thing. So that was my idea for the unmet need at the Volunteer and Service Learning Center at ECU.